why this team is so recurring. Can we get a ghostly applause? One of my favorite emojis. I think it's a good emoji. It's one of my top 3.
Hello. Cool. So first of all, this talk isn't like nearly as spooky as this name would sort of suggest. I'm also going to apologize for the state of my voice right now because I have the worst fucking head cold right now coming back from an event in London last week. But yeah, I'm Natalie Clayton. I'm a freelance games journalist based up in Scotland. I've written for like a dozen different websites, print magazines, etc. But my main gig is these 2 B2B websites where I write about the state of the industry in PC and mobile. I have to give them a little plug because they flew me out here. I'm going to be around tomorrow, sort of looking at talks, covering new stuff. If you have something interesting, just hit me up. But I'm at Ludicious as press. I'm not on this stage as press. I'm on this stage as a somewhat game designer. So I have a sort of modest portfolio of itch games, small things, little tinkering stuff in Unity, Bitsy, really small web tools. Because of that, I was sort of interviewed last year by the British Council, who were sort of talking to a bunch of neat people in the Edinburgh game scene. They talked to me, talked to Desjardins creator Jack King Spooner. I don't remember the name of the third person. It's been a long day. But something that kind of hit me blind during that interview was this sort of accusation, I want to call it, that I keep going back to abandoned spaces. And I kind of blagged my way through that answer by saying something like minimal character interactions and drama and being very open and nice and quiet. But I didn't feel really happy with the answer, so I guess this talk is a kind of nasal gazy look at why I keep doing that. And I do keep doing it. My first Bitsy game ended up on Waypoint an hour after it came out as an antithesis to large AAA open world design. And this keeps just repeating itself in so many different games where I make empty spaces that have very little going on and no characters and very minimal graphics. And this is even carried on to my current project where I didn't even write the script, I didn't write the game. This is a really cool project you should keep an eye out that I'm working on with Sylvia Nelson Jr. There will be some cool info coming up. But it's still this barren, abandoned space. What is my next slide? That's my next slide. Why though? I guess there's a couple of things. It sort of stems initially from, I like being in these kind of spaces. I grew up, with exception, in Edinburgh, which is a weirdly green city that has all these little winding forests just going around the place. And you can just find old cool stuff all over the place. This is 5 minutes away from my parents' house in the most suburbia small house district. And there's all these little paths, and very little of them are signposted with their history or whatever. They're just there, and it's nice to look at them and put together stories about who would be there, why they were built. And it was nice when I started getting more into being a gamer that you could see the stuff in games. A lot of my game creation comes from the sort of source engine background of modding and mapping, and Half-Life 2 is fucking full of this kind of empty, barren buildings and structures and little details that are never explained or described in any way, but they can just lightly suggest things. It's all environmental storytelling, which is a really sort of overused phrase, and it probably makes you think of pictures of skeletons just laying around the place in Bethesda games. And it can be a cliche, it can be tropey, it can be I put a teddy bear on a toilet, who did that? But I think it has its use. It's something that can be subverted from this overdrawn AAA, throwing graffiti on the wall out there, telling everything through expository landscaping, but it's useful in small game development because you're working with a dearth of resources, and every small thing that I can put in a game to suggest something that doesn't mean I have to write a character is really useful. I don't remember what I was going to say on this slide. I think that's what I was just saying. So there are these structural reasons for it. There's these working from my own history growing up, there's the mechanical development side of it. And that's all well and good and fine, but I think at the end of the day, I just want to sit on my own in this empty space where I can feel comfortable. A lot of the games I've made in the last year or 2 years are directly following up just spaces I would make in the Half-Life 2 editor when I was feeling down after a really rough day at uni or whatever, and just wanted somewhere to sit and chill and listen to the nice wind chime sound effects. And I just want somewhere to exist that's nice. Thank you. Bye.